The production splash says Columbia Pictures Presents in white simple writing on a black background. Black often has negative connotations, therefore it creates an eerie, scary effect, whereas the pure white writing contradicts it, which leads to confusion, which may be a theme throughout this movie. This writing then disappears, but the letter I remains. One of the main characters' name, Malcolm Rivers, is then immediately introduced on a piece of paper under the subtitle Patient. This subtitle makes the audience believe that this character is perhaps ill in some way, whether it be physically or mentally. A confused voice then says, "I wish you'd go away," and a flash occurs, followed by a diegetic sound of thunder. The confusion links back to the fact of being mentally ill. Thunder often connotes negativity and fear, which perhaps shows that this is having a negative impact. A tape player then appears in the shot and is followed by a rewind sound, which makes the audience think somebody is being recorded or watched. A series of flashing images and drawings are shown, which look as if they're being studied by someone. A voice is then questioning someone about their childhood. The answers seem very agitated. The voice says, "Don't beat around the bush, Doc, don't beat around the bush." He repeats this line, getting angrier and beginning to shout. The word doc here links back to the idea of perhaps being in a hospital. The agitated reply connotes that the voice is unhappy and doesn't like this conversation subject. This is perhaps the illness coming through. Music then intensifies, going from a slow eerie beat to a more dramatic, faster rhythm to build up the tension. This quickly flicks to shots of different fingerprints, perhaps relating to a crime scene. The dark lighting creates an ominous atmosphere, as does the music. It constantly builds up tension for the audience. Criminal shots and dates are then shown, which also links back to the fact of being a crime scene. The interviewee calmly repeats his questions. "Tell me what you remember about your mother." Photos then appear. Perhaps this is linking to the mother, and the photos shown at the start look similar. "I remember my mum" is then repeated. The title finally unravels, saying identity in the white writing. As I began to say earlier, each name leaves behind one letter, which eventually spells out the title identity. The fact that "I remember my mum" led to the title perhaps shows that this film is going to be about this mother figure spoken about. After this, flashing lights flicker and newspaper articles are shown, with different articles varying from "boy abandoned at local motel" to "child found in local motel." Whilst these are on screen, the interviewee says, "How long did she keep you there?" All of this happens so quickly and makes the audience assume that the character, Malcolm Rivers shown at the beginning, has something to do with this local hostel incident. It also makes the audience assume Malcolm's mother may be linked to the article too, especially because this is followed by images of a young boy in a car looking very vulnerable, making you feel sorry for the child. The photos are in grayscale, insinuating that they are old. The thunder then reappears and goes straight to the investigation reports and foster care papers. This could relate to the boy being abandoned, who we assume is Malcolm, and then being adopted, as we assume it was his mother. It's a very rainy evening in the shot, which immediately creates an unnervy effect for the audience. More newspaper articles are shown saying "Mountain Nightmare," "Brutal slayings in Lake Worth apartments," and "Mass murders. Malcolm Rivers is arrested." This is then followed by mugshots of assumably Malcolm as he is going into prison. So we assume Malcolm's challenging upbringing to do with his mother relates to his actions. An article then leads on to say that 6 people have been stabbed, followed by very distressing images of, I assume, these people. The candidate is asked if they remember the murders. At this point, it is almost certain that the person being interviewed is Malcolm. Illustrations are shown, and it is very dark, mirroring the feelings of sadness and creepiness. The observer flicks back through these photos, which shows also again that they are being studied and looked into. The voice then says, "I remember," and the clip ends.